now. So the first thing I have for you, describe to me just the and try to stand still for it. I know it's tough because of the connection.
Is this the best flight? It looks like my head's chopped off a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. It's just the lighting I'm a little worried about. Yeah, that'll go down a little bit. Right there. Let's go with it. Let's tilt down a little bit. Right there.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
So just kind of talk to me about the process of what this has been like for you in terms of, these conversations back and forth. They say, hey, we're going to extend this, or we're going to make this sooner rather now in 2016 than waiting to 2017.
Yeah, well, this sounds like a small thing, but it's really big. Scenic Hudson and I personally have been involved in advocating for a comprehensive cleanup of the Hudson River by General Electric for 30 years or more. And the General Electric completed the EPA mandated cleanup just this fall, and they declared success. EPA said it was a success, and GE started packing up their cleanup operation, which is a massive wastewater treatment plant type facility. It's called a dewatering facility, and they have barges and all sorts of support equipment. They have railroad tracks, and they've started decommissioning that. And we said, wait a minute. Even though EPA is saying the cleanup is complete and GE is saying it's been a great success, there are two federal agencies that feel that the cleanup has not been a success, that it was not comprehensive enough, and that the 2 additional years of dredging are necessary to get rid of the bulk of PCBs that are still in the river. There are some 134 acres of river bottom that still constitute the largest federal Superfund site in the country. That's the site with the most contamination, causing the greatest threat to the environment and to public health anywhere in the country, the PCB site. So what we've been saying is that these 2 federal agencies saying the cleanup is not sufficient and that it's going to compromise EPA's ability to declare the cleanup success and the river clean, we should revisit whether this cleanup was comprehensive enough, properly designed. And we think the answer is going to be no, it was not comprehensive enough, and that more work is needed, 2 more seasons of dredging to get rid of that bulk of PCBs that are still causing the fish to be unsafe to eat, that are still exposing the public along the river to the PCB in a vapor form. And so this is not a safe situation, and General Electric needs to do more to clean it up, and and EPA needs to force them to do that, because GE doesn't take action unless they are absolutely required unequivocally by the support of New York State, everybody else involved.
What can you kind of say? What can you say with the talks? I mean, I know the letter came out, was released, the media yesterday.
Right.
Came out on the 18th. Your thoughts in terms of, again, moving that up, and I talked to their spokesman said they feel obviously everything is fine at this point, and this just means that they're following schedule.
No, this is a major acceleration of the schedule.
What's the time frame that you have?
It's been made at our request. We met with EPA officials in Washington on December 2nd, and we sent them a follow-up letter on December 10th, and this is a response to that. The original plan was to begin the reassessment in sometime in 2017. So they're moving it up by at least a year. And we've said that it's critical that they do this reassessment before they certify, before EPA certifies that the cleanup is complete and a success. And EPA has informally said they think it's a success, but 2 federal agencies that have responsibility for the long-term natural resource health, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Agency and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, they've both said that the cleanup is insufficient, that it must be expanded. And so by moving this up, this whole reassessment, and by pledging to bring those federal agencies into the review, and by saying that they will keep the environmental groups through the citizen advisory groups engaged and involved, this is a major step forward. This is a major acknowledgement by EPA that there are legitimate questions being asked about this adequacy of the cleanup. So that 1 year and the pledge that it will be inclusive and a comprehensive review, that's a major breakthrough for us.
What do we hope to get out of this, moving it up, of course? You think that, based on what you told me earlier, just to kind of reiterate, you think 2 more years of dredging is still needed? Yes,
we're hoping that EPA will finally concede after this reexamination with the other federal agencies involved that 2 more years of dredging is necessary. And so the sooner the better. We don't want years to pass where the public is being deprived of clean fish, and where people who want to enjoy the river are being exposed to this contaminant.
Anything on this pushing forward that you want those out there to know? How many? So my understanding, the numbers, it's 134 more acres on top of the 500 from the 6-year agreement, and then the amount of PCBs you think are still left uncollected or untreated.
Well, it's as you said, it's 134 acres, and what we've found is that I don't want to make an estimate, because every time they start trying to do a cleanup, they find more PCBs. So we think if they get out there and they're committed to taking care of it over the course of a couple of more seasons, that we will get a clean river. So people should weigh in with the Environmental Protection Agency and let them know that they think that this comprehensive cleanup is important. They should let Jeffrey Immelt, the CEO of General Electric, know that they want a clean river, and they should let Governor Cuomo know that as well. This is very important for the public to weigh in on, and because the environmental groups, communities all along the river, New York State legislators, they've all weighed in. Businesses, chambers of commerce up and down the Hudson, they're all saying, we want a clean river. GE hasn't done a good enough job, and it's time to get moving on this.
Anything on this you want to add moving forward in terms of, like I said, just the letter, like I said, the talks were the 2nd and the 10th. They respond to you with this letter to say, okay, we are going to speed up the process. Obviously, it's, as you said, big news for the group. You were on behalf of a couple other agencies that went out to talk to them.
Yes.
Your thoughts, like I said, just
process. I just commend my colleagues at Riverkeeper, Clearwater, the Sierra Club, the Natural Resources Defense Council, and all the groups up and down the Hudson who are working with us. This is a team effort, and by keeping GE's feet to the fire, we're going to get a clean river.
And it'll help now, like I said, that process. What are those out there to say, hey, it's good to know that it's up, almost a year, but how is that going to? Is that just, as we said, going to speed up the whole process itself?
Speed up the review, speed up the time when we'll get more dredging, speed up the time when we'll have a clean river, safe fish to eat, and people can fully enjoy the river. So that's it, and I've actually got to run.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Really appreciate all you put into this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.